The morning sun had barely risen when a weathered pickup truck rolled through the gates of a private airport, carrying a single father whose hands were stained with years of honest work and sacrifice. By sunset, one billionaire would question everything he believed about success, and before the next sunrise, a single phone call from Washington would change both of their lives forever. Sometimes the world laughs at quiet people because it mistakes humility for weakness. But every so often, life reminds everyone that true greatness never needs to announce itself. Before we begin this unforgettable journey, if you believe kindness deserves a second chance and that hard work always matters, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Dad Talks and Stories. Your support helps us continue bringing emotional stories that inspire millions around the world. Owen Carter had never imagined that his life would become so difficult. 3 years earlier, he had lost his wife to a sudden illness, leaving him to raise his 8-year-old son, Mason, alone. Every morning began before sunrise as he packed lunches, helped Mason get ready for school, and then hurried to the small aviation repair hangar where he worked. The old building stood at the edge of the airport, forgotten by most people who flew in private jets worth more than Owen would earn in several lifetimes. Yet every aircraft that entered the hangar left safer because Owen treated every bolt and every engine as though human lives depended on them. To him, they always did. Money was always short. Bills arrived faster than paychecks, and many nights Owen skipped dinner so Mason would never notice there wasn't enough food. Still, he smiled through every hardship because his son deserved hope instead of worry. Mason believed his father could fix anything in the world, and Owen never wanted to disappoint the little boy who still waited every evening by the window just to wave when his father's truck came home. One bright afternoon, an enormous luxury jet landed unexpectedly. The sleek aircraft shimmered under the sunlight like a flying palace. It belonged to Victor Langford, one of the country's most powerful technology CEOs. His company dominated international markets, and magazines celebrated him as a fearless genius. Unfortunately, success had also filled him with pride. When engineers informed him that the aircraft's advanced navigation system had completely failed, every certified technician at the airport declared it would take weeks to repair. Victor refused to accept delay. Important investors were waiting overseas, and every hour supposedly cost millions of dollars. While executives argued and specialists examined computer screens, Owen quietly walked around the aircraft, studying sounds, vibrations, and tiny mechanical clues everyone else ignored. Experience had taught him that machines often whispered their problems before they screamed them. When Owen politely suggested he might have found the source of the failure, several expensive consultants dismissed him immediately. Victor barely looked at the mechanic standing in grease-covered work clothes. The billionaire believed appearances revealed ability, and Owen certainly did not look extraordinary. Victor even joked that if this ordinary single dad somehow repaired the impossible jet within the day, he might as well sign over his entire company because miracles like that simply didn't exist. Owen never argued. Pride never repaired engines. Instead, he quietly climbed into the maintenance compartment and spent hours tracing damaged wiring hidden beneath newer replacement parts installed months earlier by another maintenance contractor. The problem had nothing to do with the navigation computers everyone blamed. A tiny shielded connector had developed microscopic damage that only appeared under certain temperatures, causing multiple systems to fail together. It was almost invisible unless someone knew exactly where to look. As evening approached, the impossible happened. Every warning light disappeared. The navigation system restarted flawlessly. Test flights confirmed the aircraft performed perfectly. Highly paid experts stood speechless while Owen calmly packed away his tools. Victor's confident smile disappeared, replaced by genuine disbelief. For the first time in years, the billionaire realized that true expertise often wore ordinary clothes. Victor paid the repair invoice without another joke, but something about Owen lingered in his thoughts long after the jet disappeared into the clouds. There had been no celebration, no demand for recognition, and no attempt to embarrass anyone who had doubted him. Owen simply hurried home because Mason was waiting for dinner. The next morning began like every other. Owen poured cereal into 2 bowls before driving Mason to school. Just as he returned to the hangar, several black government vehicles entered the airport. Their arrival immediately drew attention from everyone nearby. Serious-looking officials stepped out carrying identification that caused airport security to become unusually respectful. The officials were searching for Owen Carter. Within minutes, Victor Langford also received an unexpected call requesting his immediate return to the airport. Confused, he assumed another mechanical emergency had occurred. Instead, he found government representatives thanking Owen for identifying a dangerous defect that had quietly appeared in several aircraft using similar replacement components. The issue had escaped manufacturers and inspectors for months. Owen's careful diagnosis had provided engineers with the missing evidence needed to prevent potentially catastrophic failures across multiple government and civilian fleets. The officials explained that military engineers had reviewed the repair records overnight. Owen's findings had already been shared with aviation safety experts nationwide. One experienced investigator admitted that Owen's attention to detail may have prevented future tragedies involving countless passengers. His simple repair had become the breakthrough everyone else had overlooked. Victor stood silently only a few steps away, remembering his careless words from the previous day. The men he had underestimated had never been seeking wealth or recognition. He had simply been doing his job with honesty because every life mattered. Deeply humbled, Victor asked to visit Owen's modest home that evening. What he found there changed him even more than the events at the airport. The small house needed repairs. The furniture was old. Mason proudly showed school drawings of airplanes and pictures of his father wearing a superhero cape. To that little boy, greatness had never been measured by money, expensive suits, or magazine covers. It had always been measured by love. Victor quietly realized that despite owning billions of dollars, he had spent years chasing achievements while neglecting the people who cared most about him. Owen possessed almost nothing financially, yet he was rich in the things that truly mattered. Over the following months, Victor funded a scholarship program for children of single parents pursuing careers in engineering and aviation. He also established a nationwide training initiative recognizing experienced mechanics whose practical knowledge often exceeded impressive resumes. Owen accepted only one condition before agreeing to help. Every student would be judged by character, dedication, and willingness to learn rather than by appearance or background. The program transformed hundreds of lives. Young people who had nearly abandoned their dreams suddenly discovered opportunities they never imagined possible. Mason watched his father become a respected mentor without ever changing the humble man he had always admired. Owen still drove the same pickup truck, still fixed engines with the same quiet focus, and still made it home every evening in time to help with homework. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and tell us where you're watching from. Your support encourages us to keep sharing stories that remind the world that kindness, humility, and perseverance still matter. Special request, comment below with the words, "Character is greater than wealth." We'd love to know how many people still believe that simple truth. Years later, people remembered the government investigation, the billionaire's remarkable transformation, and the aviation safety improvements that protected countless families. But the moment that stayed in everyone's hearts happened on an ordinary evening when Mason looked up at his father and quietly said that he wanted to grow up to be just like him. No award, fortune, or public recognition could ever equal those words. Owen smiled with tears in his eyes because after years of sacrifice, exhaustion, and lonely nights, he finally understood that the greatest success in life isn't becoming famous or powerful. It is raising a child who learns that kindness is strength, humility is wisdom, and doing the right thing when no one is watching will always matter. And sometimes, the quietest heroes leave the biggest mark on the world.